damn, is a baseball season. It's long. Jeez. Can't believe how long a baseball season is. It's really something else, to tell you the truth. It's fun. I enjoy it. But good God, how long can a season go? I mean, 162 games. Who picked that out? 162 games. Jeez Louise. Well, what are you going to do? People like it. People like baseball. They keep coming. It's 162 games, 81 at home. My name is Tom. This is Talkin Blue Live. If you don't call in, we don't have a show. If you do, we can have a good time. Talk a little baseball with you. I got Hollywood with me. Hollywood, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How you doing, Tom?
I'm doing good, man. You ready to talk a little baseball?
I am ready. Have you put the 76 ball up yet?
Say that again? Oh, shit, no.
I said, have you put the 76 ball up yet?
Because why? Because we won this series, right? Did you?
Another series win.
Do you have the series stats and numbers down there by any chance?
I do.
Can you share them with me?
They are, overall, they're 15, 10, and 7. But more importantly, in the last 18 series they played, they are 13 wins, 3 losses, and 2 ties.
So in their last 18 series,
18.
they're 13. They've won 13 series, lost 3, and won 2.
And tied 2.
Tied 2. I'm sorry. Right.
Yeah.
Holy smokes! That is pretty. What do you think? That's pretty awesome, isn't it?
That is. And if you want to look over that same just wins and losses during that period, there are 39 wins and 18 losses overall.
You know, it's weird. This is one of the weirdest teams I've ever followed in my history of watching baseball because, what do you attribute it to? What do you attribute it to?
I'll tell you what I attribute it to. JT came back, right, during the Cincinnati series or during the Miami series. Okay, since he's been back, I think they are. Well, they're 39 and 20, I believe, since he's been back. I attribute it to JT and the presence he brings in that clubhouse, the attitude he brings to, I don't know, just a swagger. I was saying it to begin the season with JT has a certain characteristic you just can't really put your finger on. And it's an intangible.
And today he's probably going to go on a 10-day disabled list.
Is he?
Yeah, because he tweaked his groin, and you know how that could be with a groin. And you know, I like your enthusiasm and stuff, and I kind of agree with you about JT, but it's not like he's done that much with the numbers. I know. Then you're really making a case for chemistry being a huge factor in baseball, which doesn't counteract sabermetrics, but it's certainly a factor. So you're going to give the JT the chemistry because it ain't sabermetrics, I don't think, for him so far.
Yeah, I don't know what sabermetrics and chemistry. I'm not sure how chemistry plays. If they can factor that in, I don't know.
But that's what but that's kind of what you're describing when you talk about him making a difference because it hasn't really been with the bat or the. I mean, I agree. He came in and automatic. I mean, 2 days later they started winning, but
yeah.
But
it's just something about, I think it's just something about his presence, man. Something
could be.
Like I said, you can't put your finger on it.
That's what they call chemistry, I believe.
Yeah.
Although chemistry is a science, you could learn a science. I think here's what it is for me. This team has a lot of depth, and I know people don't want to hear that, but they do, man. Especially even now with the pitching. I think the depth for pitching is a little shallow. It's 2 and 3s. I don't think we have an ace right now. We don't have an ace right now, so we're dealing with 2s and 3s on the depth in the pitching staff. But we got a bunch of pitchers, and then our depth and amongst our regular players. I think it's pretty amazing. Hollywood, what do you think?
I agree completely with everything you just said. I mean, the depth they have offensively, and now adding Machado to that, it's extremely deep, man. I mean, they're like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I would say at least 11 deep, where they could have 11 guys that would probably start on most teams.
Yeah.
Pitching wise, you're right though. They punch twos and threes right now.
Yeah, which is fine in the regular season, but I'm sorry, man. Show me a team, and I'm sure someone can give me an example. Maybe this would be a good way to egg someone in to call us. Show me a pitcher, a team that won the World Series that didn't really have an ace, right? Not the best pitcher in baseball, but an ace. And I know.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Did you get enough sleep? Did you get enough sleep?
Yes, and I can remember a lot of the World Series winning teams, but I can't remember back to a team that won the World Series that didn't have a true ace on their team.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and I was having this discussion with this guy who I really respect about his opinion about baseball. He's been on the show a couple times, Jeff Snyder. And I'm a pitching guy, and he's like, well, it's all of it, and I think he agrees pitching's important, obviously, but I'm really, especially in the playoffs and World Series, it's all about pitching. I'm sorry, you can score runs out the giggy during the season, but give me an ace, and he'll shut down a good hitting team every time. A classic example for Dodger fans is 1988, when one pitcher, he relieved the game. I think he started 2 or 3. He won 2 or 3, whatever. It was Oral Hershiser, single-handedly beat the steroid-laden A's teams of McGuire and Canseco.
And the cocaine-laden New York Mets team. So,
Oh, wait a minute. Now, is that your way of having a discussion about performance?
No,
all right.
No, I'm just saying. Yes, the A's were completely roided up. They look like huge, monsters. And then the New York Mets were just.
You're right.
Yeah. They were.
So he beat the coke and the roids all in 1 year. But that's the thing. That's the thing about what I think. If you have a great pitcher, or Bumgarner. I mean, he single-handedly won the World Series. So my point is, this Dodger team is a little bit of an enigma to me. I don't. They're just, what's that? 13 wins, 3 losses, 2 ties in the last 18 series. So that's pretty incredible, and that's what I've been lecturing them about ever since I started the show. And obviously they're listening. But I don't know, Hollywood. You got anything you want to say about that before I get going?
No.
Okay. Then, folks, here's the number right here. You can call in. I'm going to pop over here right now to Twitter, and I'm going to put in, if you're watching on Twitter, this will be fun. I'm going to put in a little comment that says, come and watch our show. It's live. I pop it into here to Twitter, and I tweet it, and then hopefully someone calling the show. So, are you a hater, Hollywood?
Am I what?
Are you a hater?
Am I the hater?
Yeah. You know what that is?
No, I do not. What is that?
Okay, so this hater guy, right? This pitcher from Milwaukee kind of tweeted some stuff, right?
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
So you know my reference now.
Yes.
The hater. So the way I look at it, and I'm looking for a little guidance because I do trust you on this kind of stuff. But the way I look at it, there's only two strong. There's always a black and white in an argument, and the black of it and the white of it are pretty obvious, and they always go at it. The black and the white's people, they go at it. The people that think in black and white because they can't see nuance. But so either the guy was young and made a mistake and should be forgiven. That's a pretty good philosophy in life, right? Someone's young, they make a mistake, they should be forgiven, Hollywood?
I agree with that.
Okay. And the other side of it would be this guy is a bona fide racist, bigoted scumbag, and he was an adult enough person when he did this that he should get some sort of, they never say exactly what, but some sort of nasty repercussion. Now, where do you fall on one of those two places, Hollywood?
Honestly, I don't even know what he said. I pay attention to baseball a lot, but honestly, I have no clue what he said. So I heard he tweeted something out that wasn't inappropriate, and that's all I've heard about it.
And
I don't know exactly what he said.
And you don't. It's not important enough you to look into.
No,
You know what?
Not for me, 'cause I don't care about the dude.
Yeah, you know what? That's the best answer you could have given, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, if it does matter to someone, of course they should be either advocating or, if they're offended, they should probably try to demand some sort of, repercussion. But at the end of the day, for me, and I think for Hollywood, there's so much going on in life. We watch baseball to watch baseball, man. We want to see what's going on in the field, and what's going on in people's personal lives. You can feel how you want to feel, but not everybody has to have some sort of, reaction to it. Just love the game, right, Hollywood?
That's it. And I usually don't watch TMZ or whatever other shows there might be out there like that. So.
Yeah, but listen, you don't have to watch TMZ. It's all over MLB and all the other. I mean, Major League Baseball's put up their big. They have put up their PR team to do some damage control. They don't got anybody on Major League Baseball Network saying they should find this guy. This scumbag should be thrown out of baseball. They got their marketing to kind of gloss it over because it's not good for the brand. So.
But when you're like me and you work like 60 hours, 70 hours a week,
yeah,
and you do have some free time that's not spent sleeping, I try to spend it watching the games themselves. So I don't watch much MLB channel, unless there's a game on or something like that,
right.
But
right,
basically just watching the baseball games themselves or sleeping or working, man.
Yeah, and watching the games is enough. I mean, if you want to delve, if you wanted to delve. I saw this thing on Major League Baseball Network where, real quick, I didn't watch it, but I channel surfed by it, where they were having a red carpet for baseball players, and the two announcer guys, Greg Gaspergian and then the other guy, I don't know, the ex-baseball player with the funky hair. He
Eric Burns.
Yeah, they were doing a runway thing, and they were talking about how nice the other guy's clothes were, and I thought, wow, that's pretty pathetic. Hold on. Talking Blue Live, please tell me something I don't know.
Well, marshmallows can be good for you.
That's bullshit. Go on.
I mean, I don't know. First thing that came to mind.
Yeah, that's good. I actually like it. You know what? You at least considered a response and didn't go, blah, blah, blah. So I appreciate it. I think I recognize his voice as Donnie Deporte.
That you didn't know. You're incorrect.
Oh, who is it?
It's Frank Martinez.
Frank. Damn it. Sometimes you guys sound the same. I apologize for that.
I agree, though. I heard him once on the show, and I thought, like, hey, that guy sounds like me, or I sound like him. I'm not sure.
You did, really? Well, man, I'm always glad to have you call because you're jumping on the line quick, and I like because the show's about the Dodgers, and I can get off a little bit on some things, and so. I got a feeling, I'll be honest with you, I think you probably know more about the day-to-day stuff. I watch every game, right? But I think you probably think about it more, and you probably get into conversations more about the Dodgers than I do. So thank you for calling. What's on your mind, man?
Well, I think, I don't know if you've touched on this at all. Obviously, I'd imagine there's a lot of Manny Machado talk.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've touched on... And, we'll see how it materializes. But Dave Roberts and Machado himself both indicating that he is willing to play third base when needed, I think is really a underrated and, in my opinion, a huge factor for this team.
What?
Just because one of the bigger issues that we kept having was before when we were contemplating the addition of Machado was, the metrics say he's towards the bottom of the league in defense, at shortstop at least, whereas he's a Gold Glove guy at third base. And he has everything that has been coming out of on his side has been that he's exclusively a shortstop, and he no longer will consider playing third base. But now, if that be true, I mean, and he did say that, I think it's a big factor going forward, especially with someone like Turner who's still gimpy, and the versatility that's on the team. You're adding not just another piece, but another versatile piece, and I think that is a big factor.
Yeah, I think. Well, here's the thing. When it comes to Machado, the dude makes the team better. I mean, no one can argue with that. So that's a good thing to start off with. And you're right. I did see an interview where he, once again, it was on MLB Network, I think. Maybe I'm watching too much MLB. I do know about other things in the Dodgers, by the way, fans. I just want you to know. But anyway, he did say, you're right, Frank. He came flat out said, they said, what if someone wanted to play third base? He flat out said, after a little discussion, he said, I wouldn't like it. I mean, he was honest about it, which I thought was cool. But so maybe he's now publicly saying that he'll do it, and that's cool. But regardless, he is going to do it, and I think he's, a Major League Baseball player is going to adapt. And if it's like anything, Frank, right? If you're winning, it's working out, and if you're losing, it didn't work.
Yeah, right on, exactly.
No.
But and I think that between now and then, there's going to be a whole lot of twists and turns, and a lot remains to be seen. But I think it does bode well for the potential of the Dodgers re-signing Machado, after this season. But I'm not worried about that until it's time to worry about that, and that's in the off season.
Yeah, but that's an interesting consideration because well, let me ask you this: do you think the Dodgers are going to get Harper?
No, I think they would. Now that they pulled off this trade, I think that they will exclusively look at Machado as far as a big-time bat, and I don't even think they'll really look at Harper much, to be honest.
Well, I'm glad that talk went away because I guess my point was going to be, until you said no, that you're not going to get Kershaw, Harper, and Machado.
No chance at all, no. I think Kershaw's priority number one, and I think Machado will be right there as a priority 1A. Kershaw on the pitching side, Machado as far as in the lineup, and then they'll go from there as far as in the offseason. That's kind of how I would anticipate it playing out.
I would agree. I just don't. I don't know, man. I don't think. I guess Kershaw had a good outing yesterday. 2 or 3 errors got made. Brewers are a good team. Blah blah blah. And nobody. I've said it enough. I know sometimes we get new viewers and stuff, so I'll say it again. I love Kershaw. He's probably. I go back and forth between him and Greg Maddux, who were probably the greatest pitchers I got to watch in my lifetime.
Well, those are not too bad ones to choose from. I would say, though, I think the Dodgers are going to go into the negotiations with Kershaw, and I think they'll have a set limitation in mind as far as years. Money, I think they won't. They're resetting the repeater tax, and I know where you stand on Guggenheim and them being a business first and, ownership of a ball club second, but I do think that money will be a little less of an issue than length of that contract. So if it turns out big money for lesser years, I think that'll be the worst of a pill to swallow. But I think they would be willing to do that as opposed to length, some 7-year deal or something. I don't think Kershaw's getting that from the Dodgers by any means.
Okay, well, let me just do me.
I could see 5 years.
Well, that's a long time, but do me a favor. You play Kershaw's agent, okay, and I'll play the Dodgers. Can you play that role for a minute?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Hey, so we really want Clayton to be on the team. We're committed to him for $35 million next year, and then $35 million or whatever the year after that. So we're into him for $70 million. But let me just ask you this: do you really think that Clayton is? Now remember, you're his agent, right?
Right.
Okay, so do you really think that Clayton is going to be let's just say?
Why don't you play his agent and I'll play the Dodgers?
No, because I want to put you in an uncomfortable position. I know you know what you want the Dodgers to say. So,
okay.
So Clayton's probably not going to be. Clayton's going downhill. Would you agree with that?
He certainly is not ascending towards his peak.
Okay, so why are we going to pay him $35 million, or why is he going to get any sort of increase on a contract when he's on the downside of his career? I mean, we're already on. Just re-up for the next 2 years, the $35 million we committed, and be loyal to the team, man. And we've been loyal to you. Sign up. Let's go. We need you.
Absolutely. I just think that we're not asking for an increase in money. We're asking just for additional years of security tacked on to where we're at. So,
but I mean, he's already regressing. What's your name, by the way, Kershaw's agent?
I have no clue.
Well, I don't either. So let's say Bill. Is that all right? So I can refer to you. So Bill, I mean, let's just face it though. You want me to extend this contract out to 3, 4, 5 years? What are you seeing in Clayton right now that says he's going to be a anything more than a 4-starter in 3 or 4, 5 years?
Well, he's not a 4-starter now.
No, he's
and
not.
I don't think that the dissension will take him to being that low of a quality of a pitcher throughout the duration of this contract.
Well, okay, maybe not that low, but he's getting $35 million this year and $35 million next year, and hey, you know what? That's ace money. So let's pay him ace money for the next 2 years. Sign up for the deal you agreed to in the first place. I know we gave you, you can get out of it, but we've been loyal to you, man. Sign up with us. We got a good team, and you really want to we want to try to, you know what we want to do? We want to try to sign up Machado, and we can't do it if we got to pull out another $100 million to give to you. I mean, how bad do you want to win, Bill?
Oh, well, I would disagree there. I think you can do it. I think you reset the luxury tax penalty this past season to the anger and ire of a lot of the fan base, and now it's a matter of finding a common ground, finding a compromise to pay a legend that wants to retire as a Dodger and wants to go down as one of the best pitchers in all of baseball as a Dodger. And I think the fan base wants that, and I think you know that. And we're definitely not asking for market value at 7 years, which some pitchers have gotten at this age. So it's just a matter of finding a compromise, and we think adding 3 years at the same price is not only doable for the ball club to remain competitive and re-sign other big free agents, but it's also fair for everybody.
It is fair for everybody, and everything you say is true. But look at where I'm coming from. I'm trying to stay under this cap. I'm trying to keep this franchise viable for 10, 15 years and not be an up and down franchise. And I want to try to sign Manny Machado, and I don't know if I'm going to have the dough to sign Manny Machado and give Clayton another 3 years of $35 million. I mean, maybe I'll give you one more year. You get your 35 this year and 35 next year, $1 million. That's $10,000 a pitch. So why can't the compromise be, okay, I'll give you one more year, and so I can give Machado a good contract, and maybe you can finally get a ring. And I'll give you one more year, and I'll give you another $35 million. I'll give you tack on one more $35 million, and then after that, you commit to those 3 years, and after that, you're on your own.
Well, I think at Kershaw's age and his pitch repertoire and his abilities, he's going to be productive well beyond just an additional year. And you've already proven that you can afford it. So if you can afford it for an extra year, you can afford it for an additional 2 years after that, because it's a yearly salary. So we're not talking total salary of the contract. We're talking year to year. And you can absolutely fit that in year to year with the inclusion of someone like Manny Machado or a player of that caliber at that salary, and still remain within the luxury tax threshold.
Damn, Bill, you're. I hope Clayton's paying you a lot of money because you're a damn good agent. But
I'm getting enough of a percentage.
Are you? Okay. Here's the thing. I'm going to go ahead and give you what you want for the next couple of years, and see if I can't get Harper instead of Machado, because Harper had such a terrible year last year. But the truth is, on the television deal that my boss has signed, I make $330 million a year just from my television deal, not counting the weenies we sell, right, and all the other money that we get in. So just through the television deal, I make $330 million. I figured I can make that my payroll amount, right, and try to profit off the rest of it. So I'm going to give him the money. You've been a hell of a great guy to deal with. Tell Clayton we still love him. I don't want this to leave a bad taste in anybody's mouth. And and you got any other prospects you want me to sign? Any other clients?
No, we're good. Just have that guy on that Talkin Blue live show. Have that guy say some good things about us.
All right, yeah. I don't know what good that's going to do. That guy's a schmuck. So what else, Frank? That was fun, man. Honestly, thanks for playing.
Yeah, we can do that as the off-season approaches for other players.
Yeah, I'm up for it. Well, remind me, because I'll forget. In fact, you call up and say you're someone's agent, and I'll play along with you.
Will do.
But what else you got? What else?
Not too much. I know you want to clear the lines to get some other callers in.
I do, but I want to hear what you had to say.
I just think one of your plays. Obviously, bullpen help is.
You there, buddy? All right.
Once Puig returns in.
Hey, you know what? You're gonna have to start over. Your phone faded out for a second, so just start from when we just finished. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, I was just saying that I think bullpen help is coming one way or the other, whether it's guys returning or outside of the organization via trade. I don't think that the ball club is as currently constructed is the one that you're going to see come September and hopefully October. So, we're meant to be seeing what happens there. I don't want Zach Britton. He'd be a nice luxury, but I don't think it's necessary. But there's a lot of other guys that come, and someone to keep an eye on is Julio Urias. They just reported yesterday, I believe it was, that they're working on him to be strictly a bullpen piece for the remainder of this season. They're trying to build him up to a max of 3 innings and like 50 pitches or something like that, 60 pitches. I don't know, but
that would be a good use. That would be a good. I think that would be a good use of him. I could picture him in a playoff spot where we need someone to kind of get burned through 3 innings and see if he can't get several batters out. I like that idea.
Right, and so that can be a quote unquote acquisition.
Right.
And we'll see what happens and how they round up the rest of the ball club. But I think it's worth being excited about, and the Dodgers are right there in the thick of things in the NL. Obviously, we'll see what happens though. The AL is murderer's row over there as far as teams go in that postseason chase.
Yeah, that pitching, that Houston pitching that's a Atlanta Braves type of staff. That's nuts right now. So
yeah, I hate saying that, but I mean,
I do too.
They're performing that way. They obviously don't have the longevity that the Braves rotation had, but
no, and they won't either. But
yeah. I would say they're much more Phillies of the mid and late 2000s. With Cliff Lee and Halladay and Oswalt and those guys.
Yeah, well, that'd be fun. That'd be more. Yeah, you're probably right. That's a better. Yeah, you're right. Yep.
But that's all I got today, Tom. I appreciate you. I don't know if Holly was on the line or not. I hadn't heard him say anything.
Hollywood?
Yeah, I'm here. I just want to thank Mr. Casey Close.
Yeah, that's my name. I forget, man. I'm so busy talking numbers, I forget names.
Your own especially. How can you negotiate for Clayton Kershaw $35 million and you can't even remember your own name?
I'm good at some things.
Well, you are. All right, Frank. Thanks for calling, man, and call back. Oh, you know what? I'm probably not going to do this Wednesday, but next Sunday, we're always Sunday, and then Wednesdays and Thursdays are a little iffy. So, but anyway, thank you.
Nice talking to you guys.
All right, bud. Bye.
Take care.
All right, Frank. Thanks.
What's his name?
Casey Close.
Casey Close is Clayton Kershaw's agent.
He also represents Zach Greinke and Hiroshima Tanaka, or whatever, Tanaka from
Yankees?
The New York Yankees.
Yeah. Huh. Well, that's a good pickup. All right. Well, that was an interesting call. What'd you think? Did anything cross your mind while we were doing that?
No, you guys covered it, man. The only thing is I think Kershaw is going to want to get paid not only for what he thinks he can still do, because when you're Clayton Kershaw, you still think you're the greatest. So he also wants to get paid for what he's already done that maybe he doesn't think he was paid for. I don't know, but I just can't see Kershaw taking, any sort of team discount. He understands it's a businessman,
Yeah. What do you mean? What do you mean team discount? What do you mean? You mean he's going to maximize his opportunity here?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're
yeah,
right.
It's a business, man, and that's why they have agents. That's why they're going to send an agent to the table. And he's not going to sit down across from him because, if he sits down across from management, personal feelings might come into play. But send your agent. There's no personal feelings there. Your agent's there to negotiate the most he can get for you.
That's right, and that's what makes capitalism work. And as long as the playing field is level and there's good rules that everybody understands, it works like a charm. So, and we'll see what he ends up getting out of it. All right, so here's the line right here. Call in if you're out there. I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna do this again. While I'm doing that, I'm gonna figure this out quickly, not too quickly, because Charlie, Choo Choo, wake up! All right, I'm gonna set my stuff over here. That's my the guy that does all the technical stuff, that whatever they call that guy, Choo Choo Charlie. Thanks, Charlie. All right, let's just do this real quick. Don't you look at that, because I'm going to go over to Twitter. Hollywood, tell me something about baseball, man. Tell me. Doesn't even have to be Dodger related right now. What are you thinking? What's on your mind?
I am thinking there's going to be a radical realignment within the next 5 years in baseball.
What? Hold on. Are you not back?
Yeah,
are you taking your
big
meds?
topic there.
Are you still on your meds? Are you okay?
I don't think. I mean, I have some ideas about radical realignment, but I've also heard from other people that they're talking about radical realignment and expansion at the same time. So they would expand the teams, they go radical realignment, and I also hear what my sources are telling me, that there's going to be a DH in all of baseball, that they will go to a DH all league within the next 5 years. And that's what I hear. I hear that there could be coming illegal defenses that could be coming up where you can. And these are all ideas I had. So I believe somebody's stealing my ideas.
Yeah,
but,
and then you're hearing them. You're hearing your own
and
ideas. You're hearing your own ideas.
I only listen to the good ones.
That's right. And you're smart enough to which one. Some of these aren't good. I'm going to throw them away. Well, hold on a minute. So,
okay,
just this radical realignment thing. First of all, I don't want to get into the DH thing right now, and there's other things. But this radical realignment thing, why in the world would you want to do a radical realignment? Just don't tell me what the radical realignment would be. Give me the rationale for it.
If they do expansion, they would definitely want. I believe it's more for the playoffs, more for the postseason, because then you could cut down to 2 leagues or 2 divisions within 1 league. So you have Major League Baseball being your league, and then you have, an Eastern League and a Western League, and then travel. You could cut down on travel a lot if you could realign the leagues as well.
But isn't part of your plan, if I heard you right, that part of it is this Eastern League and this Western League, and I like the names already, East and West. It's kind of a basketball-y thing, but whatever.
It is.
Yeah, so East and West. So, but during the season, East wouldn't play West, I think is what you said.
Yeah, that was my idea, but from what I hear about Major League Baseball, they're not talking about not having interleague play at all, but they're talking about expansion to 32 teams. A team would be added.
From what? What do we got now, 29? 30?
30.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, there's 30 teams right now. 15 in the American League, 15 in the National. So they would want to go to 30. And then, or 32, I'm sorry. And I hear one of the teams, Portland, Oregon, would be a location for it. I think Vegas would be a natural landing spot for any new team. Now that Vegas has got a football team, it kind of opens up the gateway there, so you can add another professional sport there.
Yeah, well, you better have some air conditioning if you're gonna indoors and if you're gonna be there, because that place gets hot.
Yeah, he built a retractable roof. I believe they shouldn't build any stadiums that are not retractable roofs anymore. I believe it's moronic to have a stadium that doesn't have a retractable roof. That allows you to, when, let's say the Dodgers had a retractable roof and the temperature was 111 degrees outside. Let's close the roof.
Yeah, I say let's put a retractable roof over Wrigley Field, but let's get to that in a minute. Talkin Blue Live, tell me something I don't know, please.
It's Ron Cervanka here, but I want to hear what Hollywood has to say on this. So just I'll just listen in. You just keep talking.
Oh, are you hooked up? You hearing us?
I'm hearing you.
Okay. So and yeah, just hop in when you want then. But I was thinking you're saying not Hollywood. You're saying not build a stadium unless it has a retractable roof. Would you go so far as to maybe get some sort of retractable roof built over Wrigley Field and Fenway Park?
Well, I'm saying they shouldn't build any new stadiums, any more stadiums that do not have a retractable roof. Like the stadium they built in Minnesota, Target Field. How could you not put a retractable roof on that? Total weather problems in Minnesota, and the stadium is fairly new. So don't build any new stadiums that don't have a retractable roof. I get it costs money, but I mean, how much more can it cost? I mean, what's another $100 million?
That's 3 years of Kershaw, man. That's a lot of money.
Anyways, those are my thoughts on that. We got Ron on the line. What you got, Ron?
Well, you know what, Hollywood, I've kind of been following this. I'm not going to call it expansion. I'm going to go with I can't even call it realignment. I think what you've got here is you've got some absolute failures. You got Miami, you got Tampa Bay, although I can't see both of them failing, but I can see one of them failing. And moving to Charlotte or moving to there's even talk about going to Montreal. So I can see an existing team relocating. That's the word I was looking for. And as opposed to an expansion. Although Manfred has made it very clear he wants to go to 32 teams. So adding one in each league, I could probably handle that. I would. The problem is, and this is one thing that Seelig acknowledged. He said we got to fix stadiums like Oakland. We got to fix Tropicana Field. We got to, there's issues that need to be addressed before expansion can take the front and center position. And Manfred said that of all places, when the Dodgers were in Monterrey, Mexico, he came into the Sportsnet LA booth, and he went through this whole spiel about expansion and whatnot. But he ended up, or he concluded by saying, before we do anything, we got to fix what we've got that's broken, including some really bad ballparks like Oakland and Tropicana Field, that was an albatross the day it opened. So, but I like. I think that it's going to happen. If you're not familiar with Charlotte, it is. They would be more than happy to build a ballpark in Charlotte, North Carolina. I mean, that town loves baseball. There's at least not just Charlotte, but North Carolina and South Carolina. There's a lot of minor league, upper level minor league teams in those areas, and they are just hungry for a new team, a major league team. So, and Montreal, Kevin Kennedy said the other day. On the broadcast that he thought that Montreal is now ready. It's all about having the right owner group, the right general manager, the right manager, just the right personnel. And sadly, they didn't have that before, and look what happened. It ended up failing. But the people of Montreal, Canada, they deserve another team or another chance, in my opinion. And Kevin was very strong on this as well.
Hey, Ron, let me ask you this, because I know they want to either relocate the Florida teams, or they want to add some teams. But I hear, well, a couple things. One, I hear Mexico is a destination. What do you think about that? One, and two, putting more teams on the East Coast, don't you think it would be counterproductive because of travel? And if you wanted to go to an East and West league, then you have too many teams, because there's already like 17 teams in the East and only 13 in the West. What do you think about that as well?
You nailed it, because one of the cities, I did an article on this probably about a week ago or so, and one of the cities of all places, and I'm going to go right back to your Dome Stadium thing here. One of the most popular locations, think about this for a second, is Las Vegas. Can you imagine having a full, let's call it 45,000, maybe 40,000 capacity stadium, 45,000 I think is probably about right, stadium in Las Vegas, in a dome stadium, because it can be 118 out there during the summertime. And look at the entertainment options that you're offering fans that travel, make it a travel destination. Yeah, you're going to have your season ticket holders who live there, and
Well, it's a thing. It's a Think Blue LA. I got it on the screen if people want to go look at it, so they can find it.
And there was even talk of Puerto Rico, and that would be to me logistically, it might be a bit of a travel issue, simply because of the time. Although when you look at a globe, not a map, but if you look at a globe of the world, it's not that much farther, say, from Los Angeles to Puerto Rico than it would be from Los Angeles to Miami, if you will. So in that regard, it's doable. However, I think that might. I don't know what kind of a hometown fan base they would have. We all know how huge baseball is in Puerto Rico, and especially with more and more major league players coming from Puerto Rico.
Let me ask you a question, just to kind of change it up a little bit here. And either one of you can answer this, but Ron, you can start if you want. What is there any downside to expansion?
You know what? That's a really a valid question. When you look at it from the players' union standpoint, absolutely not, because I've been banging on this for years. You know how many Major League Baseball players there are, right? There are 750 Major League Baseball players in the world. That's mind-boggling. When you look at how many people from once they get out of college, or even once they get out of high school and go to college ball, how many kids are playing baseball that actually end up not just in professional baseball, minor league, but in Major League Baseball? 750. So you're going to add another 50 players by adding 2 teams. So there's that, and that's just Major League level. If you're adding 50 total major leaguers, how many more minor leaguers are you adding? So across the board, it's a win-win for the players and the Players Association.
Okay, well but the question was, are there any downsides? So you came right out with another upside, and you're right, with the Players Association. How about
my downside, and I was prepared for this.
Yeah, I know you.
Is that I am an old school guy. And I don't like, let's use the old, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So, and in my opinion, although apparently Manfred disagrees with us for all this Mike Trout BS, and that's exactly what it is, baseball's not broken. It's look how many billions can you make in a year and not be satisfied and say that you're not getting the most out of it? Give me a break. It is the most lucrative of all professional sports, probably in the world. I don't know, maybe soccer probably might take it away, take it out, but at least in this country, it's bigger than basketball, it's bigger than football, and a lot of that has to do with the number of teams involved, of course. But I like it the way it is. I think Hollywood. It sounds to me like he is pro expansion. Correct me if I'm wrong, Hollywood. But I like it the way it is. What do you got, Hollywood?
Well, I actually would like expansion, but Tom, to answer your question, the downside, the only thing I can think of for a downside would be there'd be a weaker player pool, but I don't even know if that's relevant anymore because the way the young kids are coming up and playing now. I mean, the young kids come up, and even without the experience, man, they play with so much poise and just I love watching the young kids play, man. I think that they're the ones pushing the old guys out, and I honestly, besides a weaker player pool, which I don't think is relevant anymore, I can't think of a downside.
Well, okay. Here's the thing. When you talk about a weaker player pool, that doesn't bother me. I don't. As far as expansion goes, and with NLP, if it all of a sudden there's 850 players playing instead of 750 players playing, I don't think I'm going to see a real significant difference visually, like in an embarrassing way. It's just like it's not going to get awful. And the thing is, when you get to the playoffs and the World Series, then you get back to you get to see the cream of the crop, you get to see the top of the game, and the lesser players get filtered out as you move along through the playoffs and into the World Series. So you still get top quality baseball, right? So I agree with you. I don't think the weaker pool thing is a big deal. Here's the downside. Major League Baseball is a business, right? And everything is going to boil down to. I have a business degree. Everything's going to boil down to the bottom line, and that's just the way it is. They're going to try to win and everything, but the bottom line is the bottom line. So when they expand to the extent that, okay, it's like in Washington. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the TV deal that the arguments that the Baltimore and the Washington Nationals have. They went to court because they expanded so much they're in each other's territory, right? We're fighting for the same fans. When it gets to the point that expansion creates a situation where, and you got to consider TV. It's not just people driving to the game. When they're impeding on each other's territory, and that's not maximizing profits because now you got your splitting dollars, or potential dollars. Then there's the downside. It's like you've expanded into my territory. Now you like the Angels do it a little bit in LA too. So I guess Puerto Rico, I don't know where exactly they are on the map, Ron. So I don't know who they would who in Puerto Rico, who do they cheer for? Is it even geographically an issue? But when expansion gets to the point that it starts hitting them in the wallet, and it'll start hitting them in the wallet when they start impeding on each other's territory, then expansion is not going to work because it's not going to work for the people that own the businesses and are making the money. So
let me run this by you, Tom, in Hollywood. I just realized that article is in the hopper. It's not done yet. It hasn't posted yet. So how the heck would anybody know, right? Let me run this list by you. These are the I don't want to propose. They're considered in consideration for potential expansion. These cities and their respective populations. And allow me to run down this list.
Go slowly because I want to say yes or no as you go along. But go ahead.
Okay, they're actually enumerated by population, and I'm going to give you the population after each city. One, New Jersey.
No.
18.9 million.
Never going to happen. Go ahead.
Number two, Mexico City, 8.8 million.
Highly likely.
I think they should. I absolutely think they should expand to Mexico, but go on.
Okay, Montreal, 4.0 million.
Not going to happen.
I agree.
Charlotte, North Carolina, that's my favorite. Actually, because of the jumbo shrimp are in that state. That's why I love it. Any team that would name their jumbo shrimp is all right, Michael. Charlotte is 2.3 million. Portland, 2.3 million. And San Antonio, Texas. This is an interesting one. Also 2.3 million. Sacramento, California, 2.2 million.
No way.
Las Vegas, 2.0 million population. Columbus, Ohio, that is 1.9 million. Indianapolis, this is an interesting one, 1.9 million. And the final one on the list that was, at least the list that I received or researched, Nashville, 1.7 million.
Well, there's
that's the list that has been thrown out there by a variety of beat writers or other writers, and even national writers. I even tossed in a couple of my own. One I've already mentioned, San Juan, Puerto Rico, and brace yourself, Havana, Cuba. However, the logistics involved, such as travel time, and not to mention the political issues, make that quite unlikely, in my opinion.
Well, I didn't get that. What was the place you said?
Havana, Cuba.
Havana, Cuba.
Yeah, that would be the most fun. I would do. I mean, I would.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, that'd be neat. That'd be neat. I like that.
But you and I both know that that's not going to happen under for political reasons.
No, but that's all.
As they stand right now. But
yeah,
as we all know, the political relationship between Cuba and the United States is it's taken I don't want to say it's easing up. It's just they're taking a different approach or look at it now. And I mean, these people are subjecting themselves
You're almost doing politics right now. Be careful. I'll put you in the corner.
Oh, no, I'm not going to do politics. I don't do politics. Anybody who follows me on Twitter knows that I bail away from that. And quite honestly, I unfollow people that get big into the anti-this and anti-that.
Yeah, but the Cuba thing would be fun. There's certain ones on that list that I get for the reason I explained, as far as, you know, intruding on each other's territory. There's certain ones that just are never going to happen. You're never going to see New Jersey with a professional team.
Well, it has the biggest population, of course. But you're right. Now,
but that population,
New York Mets, and then you'd have New Jersey, all within literally probably, I'm guessing, about within a 200-mile radius.
That population of Jersey people is already either Yankees or Mets fans, so you would just be.
That would be cracking a tough nut right there.
Yeah, you never do that.
But there are a couple on there that fall right into what Hollywood was saying about East-West. I mean, to me, Las Vegas, even though it's down because of the population down on the list, putting a dome stadium, you know, just on the outskirts of the Strip, my goodness. And there's even like a couple of in-and-outs there. So I mean, how can you?
Oh my God!
That's a win-win right there.
Are you on your computer right now, Ron? Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay. Well, in a minute, you're going to see something that comes up that says, "Question of the day: what's this a list of?" That's my voiceover guy, DC Douglas voiceover. Do you see it yet, Ron?
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
This is Bill Russell, Glenn Hoffman, Davey Johnson.
You want my answer now?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's a list of Dodger managers.
Now, I knew you would be savvy enough to go ahead and get this, so I took it a little bit of a step further, because I thought Ron's going to see that. He's going to know that right away. So now I'm going to ask you, what years does this entail? That's a tough one.
Yeah, that's going to be a little bit tough. I'm going to have to start at the bottom of the list and work up from there. I think Grady Little, he was, and I'm going to be off by a year or two, I'm sure.
Yeah.
He was in there before Torrey. So Torrey came in, I think, in 08 or 07 maybe. So Grady Little was probably 05, 06-ish, one of those two. Jim Tracy was there probably at the turn of the century from roughly 0-0 to Grady Little and whatever I said.
He was there a long time, wasn't he? I don't remember that, Jim Tracy being the manager for 5 years.
Yeah. And then Davey Johnson, I'm surprised it was 2 years. I didn't realize it was 2 years. I thought he was only there for 1 year. And then, of course, Bill Russell. Bill Russell was kind of a fill-in. I love Bill Russell. He was out here in my neighborhood.
He was a great Celtic.
He's a great guy, but he to take nothing from the man, he's not what I would perceive as a go-getter type manager.
Oh, wait a minute. I thought this was Bill Russell, the Boston Celtic guy.
Well, that could be.
No, it's not. Listen, so you said
big enough to just knock those guys around. That would definitely do it.
You said 2006 for Grady Little, which would be 98 to 2006, based on the number of managers here. And I have to tell you that you're absolutely right. It's 1998 to 2006. Basically, the early 2000s. If you were, there's a lot of people born in that period that are probably don't even know these guys, but yeah, 2006.
Yeah, those kids are 18, whatever. You know, my son and daughter in that they grew up. They didn't know Davey Johnson. They didn't know who he was. You know, Glenn Hoffman.
Right.
Even though Hoff was Trevor's brother, I believe. So.
Right. That's right. I think you're right. So, all right. Well, listen. What I want you to give me. We kind of started. Oh, you know what else? I want to talk about something real quick, and then Ron, be thinking about what it is. I want to hear your Dodger take on the last couple series, or how they're doing. But a lot of people are complaining that the MLB and baseball networks are only showing Cubs, Yankees, Red Sox. Here's another thing that kind of goes into the expansion thing a little bit. A lot of times these smaller market teams, you don't see twin such and such games on MLB Network because they're small markets and they don't get they get the share in the TV revenue because they're all in cahoots together, which is not really capitalism, but so what. Do you guys feel like first I want to test the premise. Do you guys feel like the MLB and Hollywood? I'll start with you. do you feel like MLB really doesn't only shows? Is it true? It's just, you always show Chicago, New York, and Boston. Is that true?
Yeah, MLB is definitely East Coast biased. There's no other way to say it. They're just East Coast biased.
Wow, I love how concise you are. Yep,
Yeah,
that's right. I don't
I'm
know.
gonna leave it. I'll leave it right there. The East Coast bias. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
Never know who's listening.
Are you saying it based just on what they show, or are you saying it based on what they say? Like, is it because the games they're picking, or
The games they're picking, the things they say, the topics they cover. They're just an East Coast bias. They always have been. It started with ESPN being very East Coast bias, and it's translated right to MLB Network.
all right, Ron? How do you feel about that?
He nailed it. He stole my thunder right there. I was going to say it's not MLB. It's not just MLB. And as a matter of fact, I think MLB.com, MLB Network comes in behind ESPN. And we have had ESPN most of my adult lifetime. Probably came in my maybe 20s, whatever when it started. I don't know the exact.
I don't know. It's been
But
yeah.
since day one, ESPN has been absolutely 1,000% East Coast bias. When they cover a game out west, like the Angels and Dodgers series, I know Fox did one of them, but ESPN did one of them as well. It's a joke. It is a joke. When you've got Alex Rodriguez, and I love Jesse Mendoza. I love her to death. But when they're trying to on their broadcast tell Dodger fans who are very educated fans that Max Muncy, who is this guy? He doesn't really belong in the All-Star game. It's like, where are you getting this? And the simple answer is they don't know. They really don't know because their whole focus is Cubs, Red Sox, Yankees, even the Mets get a little more love than in most of the West Coast teams. So,
Well, why do you think? Why is that? Because that's hold on. Why is that? Because that's where they live. I mean, what's the incentive? I mean, what's the you think they're? Here's why it is. I'm going to tell you why it is. I just threw out the question. I think I know the answer anyway. So, it is East Coast bias on the one hand, but it's also more people are awake. Right. By the time our West Coast stuff gets mentioned, everybody's asleep. So it goes back to the almighty dollar, which I love. I'm not bagging on capitalism or the almighty dollar. I'm just saying that's the bottom line. And this East Coast bias, I think the interpretation comes from a lot of, look, they're just trying to maximize their value in dollar, and there are more people in New York and Chicago and Boston, and they would probably do LA, except it's way out here on the East Coast where everybody's asleep. So you do tend to show more games in larger markets, show more games where people are still awake, and try to maximize your profit, which is a reasonable thing. So I don't see it as this inherent, we're really secretly Oriole and Yankee fans, and we don't like the Giants and A's and Dodgers. So when we do announcing, we're going to do our best to try to sound unbiased, but doggone it, I love the Yankees, and those Dodgers are very mediocre things. Anybody?
Yep, that's probably the factor. The primary factor is about the money because of their audience, their awake audience, as you say.
Yeah.
That's a big factor.
I just
that notwithstanding, if you're going to come out and do an Angels Dodgers series, which is a pretty big deal here, especially when you got Ohtani and Mike Trout, the greatest player of our lifetime, and unfortunately Albert got hurt, but you've got some of these premier players on the Angels. We've got the Dodgers certainly have Kershaw. They got Matt Kemp having just a crazy year. Who is Max Muncy? But you would think they would do their homework a little better. I resent that. I of course A-Rod's going to be rah Yankees. I mean that goes without saying. And what I like best when he is on the broadcast is when he's not talking. So but I think you nailed it. I believe that has a great deal. Yes, they are in Bristol, Connecticut, so of course they're going to be really pumping the heck out of their the northeast part of our country. But once you get past the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Cubs to some degree, and once you get past that, what do you got? You got nothing. So,
No, but at least as far as money, at least as far as maximizing your dollar, it's just not. I'm sorry, it's just not there. It's in New York and L.A. and that's how we operate. So just we're gonna have to deal with it. And you know what? I don't know if you heard this, Ron. I did hear that they put together the crew for the announcing of the World Series, and they're gonna get A-Rod and Charlie Steiner together.
You're just saying that to make
What?
you are.
What? You wouldn't like that? Would you watch the game?
Here's the deal. I would watch it, but I'd listen to it on the radio because I knew Charlie Steiner wouldn't be there.
Oh, jeez. Oh, you mentioned this a couple times. I want to throw this in, Ron. Right. Where is it? Because it got me going too. No, don't.
Oh, I saw your tweet during the game, by the way, and I don't know if this is where you're going with it.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, okay. Well,
Now,
I'll let you go ahead and go there,
Yeah.
and then I'll come on in.
Don't steal my thunder.
I will not.
But I thank you for reading the tweet and mentioning it. All right, so this whole up that when the commissioner came, I don't think the commissioner was being as blatant as I think people were really reading a lot into him saying that somehow Mike Trout was not helping them market the team. He didn't mention Trout's name. He was kind of couched it. I think people really kind of jumped the gun a little bit on that and went a little overboard interpreting what he really meant. However, since they did, I responded with this tweet to what I felt like were fans who need more fun in the game. In fact, I actually had a fan tell me that they wanted to see Carte play second base just to get more fun in the game.
Well, they could do that with Dustin May.
Yes, he could pitch. He's a pitcher, though.
But he's Carrot Top. I mean, he's got that incredible flowing mane.
Yeah, like the Dodger Fan Weekly twins. So all I put was, if you need more than what Mike Trout does on the field to make the game fun, you don't enjoy baseball to start with. Is that the tweet you're talking about?
Well, actually, it's not. But that one, I did see that one.
Oh.
And that I just kind of scratched the surface minutes ago when we were talking, but Mike Trout is he's the greatest player of our generation. He is our Ted Williams. He is our Babe Ruth, if you will.
Or Mickey Mantle, the more obvious one.
He's doing things that we as a baseball fan you dream and hope for. You have dreams about the stuff he does, and he's a great guy.
Yeah, but he's not.
He's out there signing. He will sign until every kid out there has an autograph. I mean, who does that? He doesn't have to do that. He's making whatever, $25 million a year.
Yeah, but you know what? Hold on. I got to stop you there because here's the bottom line. He doesn't care enough to work on his bat flip. And if he doesn't care enough to work on and get a quality bat flip that other fans can enjoy so kids, when they come to the game, can see a good... He's the best player in the world. Can you imagine what kind of bat flip he could do if he just put a little work into it? But does he do a bat flip? No. So you know what? He doesn't care about the game. And he's no fun.
Well, no, he doesn't care about the fans if he doesn't have a good bat flip.
Yes, he leaves.
Come on.
He doesn't care about the fans.
Yeah, well, what did I just say a couple of minutes ago about what type of fan I am? I am old school.
Me
How
too.
could I not just latch on to Mike Trout? I hate the Angels. I cannot stand the Angels.
Yeah.
I love Mike Trout, and I also very much like Albert Pujols. Why? Because they play the game right. They play it right. They're the best in the game. They play it right. They play it old school. They run out every play. They hustle. They're never late. Mike Trout said he has never missed a team meeting. Never even been late for a team.
But here's the problem with calling it old school, Ron, and I get a little perturbed when young people go, oh, that old guy, or old people go, those millennials or whatever. But here's the problem with it. Mike Trout's not old school. He's the new generation. And so it's not about old school or new school or generational thing. It's just about different ways of approaching things. And he approaches in the game in a way that you and I respect and love. And we love the way he approaches it. It doesn't mean, I guess I don't know what it means. Like, although seeing Carte Top play second base would be pretty interesting, I got to say.
Well, when I say old school, I'm talking about the way the game is played. I'm not necessarily talking about his age. He's what is he, 27 now, I think?
Yeah.
So,
He's still, yeah, I think you're right.
So I'm not talking about that aspect of it. I'm talking about the way he plays the game. Mike Trout plays the game at age 27 the way Chase Utley plays the game at age 39.
Well, that's a good point. That's a good point.
They're not the same player by any stretch, but the way they play the game, the way they approach the game, the cerebral aspect of the game, their thinking, they're just baseball savvy, baseball smart, very intelligent ball players. So that's when I say old school, it has nothing to do with their physical age or their actual calendar age or whatever the right term for that is.
Yeah.
Chronological age of it. But it has to do with the 149-year history of Major League Baseball, and which has gone through a change. I even did a story on that. About every 30 years, there's a significant change in the game, whether it be the implementation of replay and the implementation of DH. As you go through time, about every 30 years, there's kind of a shake-up. And
which is probably a healthy thing,
Yeah, I absolutely think you should always be reevaluating it. But I'm jumping. I'm gonna. The one thing I happened to catch Hollywood saying before I came online was DH. I think the Major League Baseball Players Association will fight that in the National League. They will fight against implementation of the DH in the National League to the bone. They're not just gonna roll over because guess what? That's kind of the last, if you will. What do they call the American League and the National? They call the National League the senior circuit. Why? Because it's been around the longest. It's old school, the epitome of old school. So leave it alone. Leave it alone. I would actually have no problem if baseball completely did away with it. But that's never going to happen. And here again, going back to that 750 number, it has created careers for David Ortiz and for when he was in Boston, for Manny Ramirez and stuff like that. J.D. Martinez nowadays.
Edgar Martinez.
It's created jobs for those guys that they would not otherwise have.
Ron Blomberg. Remember that guy? He was the very first DH. A lot of people don't know that. Look it up. Ron Blomberg. And I think Edgar Martinez was probably the purest, best DH I ever watched. But all right. So
anyway, I'll give you your phone back.
Yeah, I'll take the phone back. But thanks for calling. And I don't know if I'm doing Wednesday. If I do Wednesday, I'll call you about maybe guesting with me. But I don't think I am. So next Sunday I'll be doing it.
Yeah. Here's the thing, Tom, and I try to be as optimistic as I can. Some people say I'm a critic, but I have my doubts. Or I'm a skeptic, but I have my doubts. But
Wow.
Starting tomorrow, Monday, the 23rd, and that plane ought to be landing in Philly probably within the next hour or two. It is supposed to rain for 3 straight days in Philadelphia.
That's going to be hot here, by the way.
There may not be a whole lot to talk about.
Right. Well, that's a good point. You're right. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to want to babble about that Astros series because I'm going to say it right now. The Dodgers are not as good as the Astros, and the Astros have much better pitching, and I think the Astros are a much better team. And please prove me wrong, Dodgers, because if you win that series, I'm going to have to rethink the way I think because series matter. We're late in the season, and that series will matter.
It's funny you mention that because on the promos for the upcoming series, including the Houston series. What are you hearing? I hear the Dodger, whoever the promotions people on the radio saying it's time to get back, it's time to get even, it's time to bring back. That was horrible. I don't want to remember it. I want to let it go. I want to move on. Relive it.
They chose they had a bad choice of words there because a bunch of people were saying, "No, we don't want to relive the World Series."
That's so true.
We're going to start again.
But yeah, you're right. That's going to be a huge series, and it is potentially a rematch. It potentially, you know what I mean by that.
It's always potential.
The series is not, but where this whole thing may end up could be a rematch. Although I'm kind of have a hard time thinking anybody's going to get past Boston.
Yeah. Plus, it's very unlikely that two teams meet again. I mean, just the numbers say that's not going to happen. So.
Yeah. So,
but
that being said, I can certainly see the Dodgers doing their thing. I think they're going to get 6 in a row, but then they got to get past whoever else is, the other, which could be the Brewers. I mean, who knows?
Well, I don't think so. I don't think it's going to be.
Well,
yeah,
it could be. Check this out. It could be the Colorado Rockies.
Yeah, talk about a team on fire, man.
Yeah, they'll go in as a wild card, and then if they win a wild card, all of a sudden they're in the NLCS head to head with, and I'm really going to get at myself against the Dodgers. So I think that would be a great series. But again,
we shall see.
I don't want to hear that relive the World Series. I don't want to. That's the last thing I want to hear.
No, that was tough enough.
All right. Well,
all right,
great
bud.
chatting with you guys. Hollywood, always a pleasure. I hope you got 30 callers waiting to call in. If they are, they're all really mad at me, I'm sure.
I do get complaints later on about people wanting to call, but you know what? Call in. Part of this show is not us. Get your question out. I got to get to a commercial. It's like, hey man, let's peel this onion and have a little cry.
Well, I literally today because I'm not at the ballpark. I'm not in the clubhouse today. I would not. So I literally watched your show for 20 minutes. I heard all of Frank's talk, and I love listening to Frank.
Mm-hmm.
But so I listened to that. I listened to Hollywood. That was what I was really enjoying listening to Hollywood talk about the expansion stuff. So, but anyway,
that's cool.
I'll clear your line and great chatting with you gentlemen, and go Dodgers.
Yeah, go Dodgers. We'll talk soon. Thanks.
All right. Appreciate it, Ron.
What? I know you got
a couple things.
Yeah,
a couple things there. Is you say Edgar Martinez is the best DH? I'm going to say Frank Thomas. I don't care. I'm taking Frank Thomas over him. Edgar Martinez gets all the love for DH, but I'll take Frank Thomas.
Let me just stop you. I know because you sound pretty sure of yourself there, and let me just give you something to think about. Edgar Martinez only played DH for you, pretty much. I mean, but Frank
did you see Frank Thomas ever throw a ball?
Yeah, but he played first a lot. I mean,
early in his career.
Yeah, but
you're right. You're right. Yes, you're right that Edgar Martinez did DH all of his career. You are right about that.
But and you are right also that Frank Thomas is primarily considered a DH, and that he probably should be considered, if not the best, and one of the best. And, Edgar Martinez. I don't know what else I was going to say. What's your other point?
The DH going away, and that'll never happen because of the players' union. That's why they're saying that there would be a DH in all the league instead of only if they realign. You guys were talking about the DH, and he was saying that they'll never let the DH come to the one league because the players' union wouldn't allow it. Actually, what the players' union wouldn't allow is that the DH going away. And if they radically realign these two leagues, and combine the American National League, because they're no longer really American National League. They just happen to face in the World Series.
Right.
I think they got to uniform the rules. I'm okay with either going all DH or no DH. I don't care. I just assume if you're going to play interleague baseball all year, you need to align the rules. You need to uniform them. But I can't see the players' union allowing the DH to go away. As much as I know you hate that.
No. I agree, but I think what you're saying is true. I don't like it. You're right, but I think what you're saying is absolutely true. And I don't think I think at the end of the day, the players' union will go definitely not get rid of the DH because that means fewer players get opportunities. But I think that at the end of the day, the players' union will be okay if it were to go all DH. I know the only thing is pitchers wouldn't be able to hit, and I don't think the pitchers are that passionate about it to where they would force the players' union to kind of get aggressive about this. So
well, some of them are, but there's not enough of them.
Right. But you know how I feel. DH equals checkers.
Yeah.
Not DH. National League equals chess.
It is. It's DH brings the blunt force trauma involved. Man, it's no longer, it's no longer Sugar Ray Leonard in there. It's now Mike Tyson in there. It's the blunt force trauma. It's just throw guys up there. You're no longer moving guys over and all that. You're just trying to hit home runs.
Yeah, you're right because when it's pitcher spots coming up, now you're bunting and moving things over, so it becomes the finesse. You're right. That's a good analogy. And then now, and the DH, it's just like get up there and put the hammer down because 1 through 9, we're just gonna be good hitters.
Yeah, you ever seen the Yankees lineup? Holy cow, man! They're just,
I know,
1 through 9. They're just boppers.
Take the Yankees lineup. Take the Yankee, and we are definitely here for the Dodgers, right, Hollywood? Both of us. There's no question about that.
Mm-hmm.
But stack that Yankee lineup with that Houston pitching staff and go, man. That would be a dynamite team.
Yeah, and the reason I think Houston's going to be in the World Series this year is because of that pitching staff, man. The pitching staff is so stacked, but they don't have any. Their bullpen is really shaky, man.
They better get it. They better get that fixed up because that is their.
Yeah.
Okay, so look, I want to run this. You're a numbers guy. I know we haven't gotten to your past a lot, but you are definitely a numbers guy. Oh, look, what do I want to do here? Oh no, let's not do that yet. I'll do that next time. I wanted to kind of cover this idea here. Okay, tell me when you see the TV deal thing come up here. I had a discussion with a guy who is a very bright baseball fan on the interwebs, as they say, on the tubes, and he was talking about the TV deal. Okay, and then Dodger, and then how if a fan were to pay $6, we wouldn't have to have all these regional sports networks, and we wouldn't have to have all this stuff. How many people would pay $6 a month to get the Dodgers, and then that would be enough to fuel the whole system, the whole bubbling cauldron of Major League Baseball. If fans just paid $6 a month, and then that would be $70, $2 a year. So Hollywood, I'm going to just go through this. I know it's numbers and it's kind of a little bit difficult to understand, but I'm going to just put this up here this week because next week I'm going to go into it in much more detail. And all I want to do today is accomplish that what I've put up here is somewhat clear, Hollywood, okay? And then next week I'm going to open it up to this guy who had this discussion with me, who I very much respect his knowledge. So Sportsnet LA got $8.25 billion for 25 years, right, for their TV deal, which is $330 million per year in TV revenue going to Guggenheim. The a la carte revenue, if you were to charge $6 a month fee, which was the suggestion, that'd be $72 per year that you could get out of a fan and that would be your new TV revenue for people watching on TV, appliances, computers, washing machines, whatever they watch their TV on. So then you go when the Dodgers games were on basic cable and free over the air, viewership topped out at around 230,000 fans. Now it's at like 56 because not enough people can see it. 56,000 people, about the same number of people that go to a game watch it on TV nowadays. At least that's the numbers that I'm getting, and that ain't an easy number to get. And if you get it, give it to me because that ain't so easy to get. That's not out there just for everybody to chew on. So when the Dodgers games, I'm going to read it again. When the Dodgers games were on basic cable and free over the air, viewership topped out around 230,000 fans. So let's say there's 230,000 fans who want to get the Dodgers and watch them on TV, and that's back when it was free over the air and basic cable, but free over the air. 230,000 fans. Now, if they all paid the $72, you'd get $16 million in a la carte revenue, new revenue, $16 million TV a la carte revenue. Now, to make $330 million, charging $72 per fan, which is what that a la carte suggestion is, to get back to that $330 million that you're already getting through the Guggenheim TV deal, you would need over 4 million fans, 4,500,000 fans to subscribe. It ain't happening. There's only 6 million TV households in Los Angeles. There's just not that many Dodger fans, and not everybody in LA is a Dodger fan. Sorry. So a la carte generates 5% of what the present TV revenue is now. Presently, under this way they did it now, which is with a regional sports network, Sportsnet LA, very exclusive, but it's $330 million a year. Now, that money's paid by cable TV subscribers. That's who pays that. Dodger fan or not, that money that was paid in is just cable TV money. You don't even have to be a Dodger fan. It's a big old kitty of cable TV money, and the Dodgers cut is $330 million. Now, you go to a la carte at $72 per year, you get $16,560,000. Those numbers aren't even close. You can't get near with a la carte what they get with regional sports networks. You can't get near it. There's not enough fans. Why? The revenue created by having millions of people pay for cable TV subscription fees, most of them who are not Dodger fans, will never be near what only Dodger fans could generate with an a la carte. So I'm going to go over this again next week, Hollywood. I know it's a lot, and there's probably people dropping off left and right because this, this is a little bit difficult to understand. And if they want to go watch cartoons, I don't blame them. But I wanted to get this out here because it's part of the conversation that I'm going to be having with this guy, and I can point him to this before we have it because I want him to have the opportunity to think about this. Does that just on the face of it right now, Hollywood? Is that somewhat clear, or is your eye glossed over and you're now watching some baseball game?
No, it's clear. It's clear, or you could say the 230,000 fans you had watched the game. You could charge them each $1,435 a piece, and that'll make up that $330 million. By the way.
Okay, good boy.
Throw another number out there. They could pay $1,435 a year each for the 230,000 fans.
So, are there 230,000 Dodger fans that will a la carte at the how much? What was our rate? Our a la carte rate to get
$1,434.78.
Let's say $1,500 a year. You get your Dodgers. The Dodgers get their big money that they can pay their guys, and everybody's happy, right? Okay, that's very cool that you added that. I'm not going to change this chart, but keep that handy for me next week, okay?
Okay.
That's very cool that you kind of that your final assessment there tells me that there's some clarity here. I'm sure there's a glitch and someone can punch holes in this to some extent. But it tells me that it's clear enough that you could go ahead and even extrapolate a little bit further. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. All right. So we've been going for an hour and 25 minutes. I'm going to give here's the line. If you're out there and you want to call in, clap your hands. No, wait. How's that go? If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. No, that's not.
That's one way to say it.
Yeah. So, we got a lot of friends here at Talkin Blue Live. This has been a pretty good episode. I'm pretty happy with it because now I can post it, and that's where we get most of our views. Not so much live because people in Los Angeles have a life and they go do things. But they do find the time. That's the thing about your generation. The people behind you, Hollywood, is they do things on their own time. When I was a kid, you had to be. It was 8:00 for the show you wanted to watch. You couldn't just YouTube it and get what you wanted.
I remember.
You do remember. You remember both of those, don't you?
Yeah. Well, I remember you telling stories about that. I'm way too young for that.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. All right. So where are we at? Oh, we do this 27 Sundays, 18 Wednesdays, and 7 Thursdays. We're kind of taking off some Wednesdays and Thursdays with rain and heat, and then sometimes I have to go to Europe and do things because I'm a very busy man. And but always Sundays, right, Hollywood?
That's right. Hey, one more thing real quick to watch out for. Machado's going to Philly the Dodgers are heading to Philly. Well, if you remember, Philly and was really making a push to get Machado there. The fans are screaming for him. So I'm anxious to see these next 3 days what kind of reception Machado gets when he goes to Philly. I'm just saying something to keep an eye out for.
Yeah.
Philly fans can already be a little rowdy.
Yeah. Jerks. I'll say it. If you're a Philly fan and you're out there, I don't like grouping people together because I'm not a bigot, but geez, you got a lot of jerks in your fan base. Woo! All right. So anyway, NHRA, take your family out to the Auto Club Raceway. If the Dodgers aren't around, in the NHRA, there's a track and a fast car going down, a noisy car going down the track. Take them out. Take your kids out there. It's really an expensive kind of a once in a, hopefully not once in a lifetime, but a something you'll never forget moment. In-N-Out Burger Foundation, they do so much for kids, and they don't toot their horn. If you read the book of Matthew in your Bible, you'll read that you're not supposed to take credit when you give charity. Otherwise, it's not really charity. I've had someone tell me that once. And they don't take a lot of credit. They just stay busy. And so help In-N-Out Burger Foundation. They're really great people over there. Girls at Dodger Fan Weekly, always. I can't thank them enough because they built this mountain, and I'm still climbing it, but they let me kind of climb on their back and be a part of what they created, and I always appreciate them. Tolls get sent down. Eat that cookie. And my Taco Bell, pay attention. I'm telling you, it's a gold mine idea. Guy hits a home run in center field. Ding. What happens when you hear the ding, Hollywood?
Get free tacos?
Free tacos, man. Think about it. Ball goes over center field. It's deep. Oh, no, it's going to hit the bell. Dong. Everybody gets free tacos. And then the bell rises up. Free tacos. And then there's my batting coach. I always want to thank him because if it weren't for him, I wouldn't be here today. Billy the bell ringer. And he always said, you know what, man, just swing hard and make the bell ring. All right, you can catch us on YouTube, Facebook, sometimes Twitch. I don't even steam it. Choo-choo, have we ever done steam it? Why is this even on here? Because I don't care. If we're not, it's never on there. We're wondering. All right, someday we'll be on steam it. Our audience is growing, and it is, but so what? Anyway, it's only 7 Sundays, 18 Wednesdays, 7 Thursdays. Talkin Blue Live. I do this because, bands need to have a voice, need to have a place to be heard. Reach out to me. Talk to me. Talk to me about baseball. I guarantee you as the season goes along, the show is going to get busier and busier and hotter. And fans are going to want to talk about the Dodgers. And why do you want to talk about the Dodgers? Because it's the first game I ever went to was a Dodger game. I've been going for years. I'm fortunate enough to occasionally to sit with the families. I've sat next to pitchers' dads and talked to them while their sons are playing. I don't talk about it a lot on the show because it's not really my place. So, but all that said, Hollywood, thanks, bud.
Thank you, Tom.
And I'll see you soon. And I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Let me turn this outside. What's going on outside? Oh, those Dodger fans are getting rowdy. So with all that, fans, I just want to say thanks for tuning in. And say, what do you end with? What do you end with a Talkin Blue Live show about the Dodgers? What do you say? How do you end a show? Oh, you just say, go Dodgers, baby.